Hi, I'm James Muir, and this is a screencast for Sonikmatter.com. What we're going to look at today is sidechains. So probably the first question we should answer is, what's a sidechain? Well, a sidechain is a way of using the audio from one track to control the behavior of a plugin on another track. Now, back in the old analog days, this was still a quite common trick, quite often used with noise gates or compressors. You can do this in the analog domain as well as in the digital domain. But obviously, as we're focusing on Logic, what we're going to be discussing is what the best way to use it in Logic is and what it can be used for. So our first thing is a little demonstration of the concept. We've got a music bed here, a backing track, and we've got a little bit of fake voiceover that I recorded earlier. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the audio of the voiceover to control the level of the backing track or the music bed track here in the background. So let's have a quick listen to where we are at the moment with no processing on either of the tracks. If you look down here in the corner, the actual channel strips, they're just blank channel strips with nothing happening on them. And this is the result we get. Hi, I'm James Muir, and this is a screencast for Sonikmatter.com. What I'm going to be discussing today is how to use sidechains. A sidechain is a way of using... Now, as you can hear, without pumping techno backing track here, we can barely hear the voiceover, which some of you might think is a good thing, but for the purposes of this demonstration, we'll actually assume you want to hear what I'm ranting on about. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert Logic's compressor on the music backing track or bed track here. So we go to the channel strip, dynamics, and then compressor, and it's a stereo compressor because it's a stereo backing track. Okay, now if we look at our compressor controls, which probably most of you will be familiar with already, we've got up in the right-hand corner here, sidechain detection, which is important for what we're discussing today, and that's set to max, which is where we want it. And then we've got a sidechain input in the very top right-hand corner here. So we're going to set the sidechain input to be audio 2, which is our voiceover track. Now, just very quickly, for some reason in default, Logic's plug-in compressor always comes up with the gain set to +4 dB. I'm just going to knock that back to 0. It's not particularly relevant for what we're doing, but effectively it's going to be turning up the backing track more than we already had it turned up, which is just a nonsense, really. And then, obviously, we've got our audio track here, which is going to be controlling the amount of compression. So with our voiceover track, we're controlling the compression. Now, the compressor threshold has come up set to -12 dB as default, which is probably not going to be enough for what we actually want to do today. But what I'll do is I'll play the bed and the voiceover together again. Then I'll adjust the compressor threshold in real time till it's giving me enough gain reduction on the music bed track. So let's have a quick listen to that. Hi, I'm James Muir, and this is a screencast for Sonikmatter.com. What I'm going to be discussing today is how to use sidechains. A sidechain is a way of using the audio from one track to control the behavior of a plugin on another track. Here's a demonstration. Now, with very little adjustment, as you can see, all I did was just move the compressor threshold down to -40 dB. We were already getting quite a significant reduction in the level of our backing track versus our voiceover track. Now, the next thing to say is the attack and release settings, again, in the same way they would normally work with a compressor, control how fast it grabs and how quickly it lets go with the release. Now, it was coming up a bit loud in between those quite small pauses in the voiceover track there. So I'm just going to tweak that release time so it's a little bit longer, and I'm going to tweak the attack time so it's a little bit longer again, so that it's not grabbing as fast and it's not letting go as fast. And then we'll have another quick listen and see what we've got at that point. Hi, I'm James Muir, and this is a screencast for Sonikmatter.com. What I'm going to be discussing today is how to use sidechains. A sidechain is a way of using the audio from one track to control the behavior of a plugin on another track. Here's a demonstration. So as you can hear, now what we've got is an automatic way of turning down the backing track level versus our voiceover level. This is sometimes referred to as ducking. It can be incredibly useful in all kinds of situations, and it's quite a good introduction to the possibilities of what a sidechain can do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up a couple more demonstrations of different ideas you can do with sidechains, and we'll come back to those in a second.